The global transition to electric vehicles is triggering an insatiable hunger for one specific element: lithium. We're watching a modern-day mineral rush. This diagram tracks India's battery supply. Currently, roughly 75% of India's imported lithium-ion batteries flow directly from China. This concentration drains billions of dollars out of the Indian economy and hands Beijing enormous strategic leverage over a critical industry. In 2023, the Geological Survey of India announced a massive discovery and inferred 5.9 million tons of lithium ore in Jammu and Kashmir. Overnight, the scale of this deposit recalibrated India's entire energy security forecast. But assuming that simply digging this ore out of the ground will secure India's geopolitical future ignores a much darker historical pattern. Economists Jeffrey Sachs and Andrew Warner found that countries overflowing with valuable natural resources often grow much slower than resource-poor nations. They call this phenomenon the resource curse. Historically, foreign capital and coercive state power have combined to strip a region of its wealth while leaving the local population devastated. We've seen the human cost of this pattern play out with rubber in the Congo and copper in Zambia. Today, that same extractive logic targets South America's lithium triangle. Producing a single ton of lithium from these salt flats requires the evaporation of 500,000 liters of underground brine, leaving indigenous communities with collapsing ecosystems and disappearing water sources. India faces similar risks. Geologically fragile regions like the Himalayas in Jammu and Kashmir or the hyper-arid deserts of Rajasthan cannot survive that level of hydrological shock without triggering severe social conflict. If India pursues the traditional dig-it-up model, it will likely trade its reliance on foreign imports for a domestic ecological and social crisis. The strategically resilient pathway requires India to bypass 20th century extractivism. Instead of a linear supply chain, the goal is a closed, circular life cycle. This shift creates a massive industrial opportunity. By 2050, battery circularity in India represents a 75,500 crore rupee market. This comparison shows the difference. Older recycling methods use extreme heat and essentially burn away the lithium. Advanced hydrometallurgical direct recycling uses chemical solutions to preserve the materials, recovering a broad slate of high-value metals, including lithium, cobalt, and nickel. If scaled, this recovery process could supply over 40% of India's total projected lithium, nickel, and cobalt demand by 2050. This electronic waste is an urban mine. It is a high-grade, domestic mineral reserve already sitting inside India's borders. Mastering the extraction of these urban mines allows India to produce its own critical minerals, bypassing both fragile global supply chains and destructive open-pit mining. But mineral security isn't just about supply, it's about efficiency. The goal is to trade the brute force game of volume for the precision of advanced material science. Material science shows that graphene can enable lithiation on both sides of a carbon sheet, which theoretically doubles the lithium storage capacity compared to standard graphite. By utilizing graphene, India can stretch imported or recycled lithium across significantly more watt-hours of energy storage. While some domestic mining is inevitable, it requires strict governance to prevent local exploitation and institutional corruption. To see how to manage resource wealth, look to Norway. They funneled petroleum revenues into a transparent sovereign wealth fund, preserving the principle for the future. India can adopt this by creating a green sovereign fund to capture mining royalties and reinvest them strictly into clean tech and recycling infrastructure. A circular economy depends on strict fiscal rules and legally enforceable community vetoes to ensure resource wealth serves the public interest. Investing in battery circularity and materials science provides a national security strategy to neutralize foreign economic leverage. Traditional mining, like this open-pit operation, concentrates wealth while creating hazardous, physically demanding jobs in remote regions. A circular battery economy generates a different workforce, high-skilled jobs in diagnostics, repair, and chemical engineering. Global markets are already moving this way. Regulations like the European Union's digital battery passports will soon make recycled content a requirement for international market access. True energy independence requires more than replacing one fuel with another. It requires replacing a legacy of extraction with a future of regeneration.